Okay, so we have a trade between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Minnesota Wild. You know, when every single insider is saying a player is going to get traded, you know they're going to get traded. Like literally, when it comes to Jurček, every single insider that I saw on X or Twitter or whatever the hell you want to call it was saying this guy's getting traded. It's just a matter of time kind of thing. Which, hey, I love it, man. More trades. You know, I was a little surprised about Columbus not necessarily giving him as much of a chance as I thought they would. It's not even like he played a lot of games, right? He's played about like 50 odd games. 11 points. You know, I'll put the information up on the screen for you guys here. You know, they used the 6th overall selection to get David Jurček, right? Like, this wasn't just a nothing pick for the organization. And I will always say this, that when your franchise doesn't hit on those top picks, that is what holds back your organization. When it comes to the draft, you need to hit on those picks. You need to be obsessive with them. That's why the Leafs are good today, because they just nailed a couple of draft picks in a row and they got 80, 100 point players, and you're just good for years because of that. Anyways, I should be breaking down the trade though. So the Minnesota Wild do acquire David Jurček, which has selected 6th overall for a bunch of draft picks. Now, I will say, even though I'm critical about the trade, I will say that I don't think that Columbus did that bad in this trade, right? So the full trade goes like this. Columbus gets a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round pick, and they get Damon Hunt as well. He is a 3rd round selection by Minnesota. He was drafted, third round selection, sorry. And not a lot there. He's only played like 13 NHL games. So, obviously just a throw-in defenseman. Maybe he could become something. He stands about 6'1", and he does shoot left. But in my opinion, the draft pick haul that they got for him wasn't that bad. Now, I will criticize this a little bit though, because first off, Minnesota is having an unbelievable year. I mean, they are tied in their division with Winnipeg, who pretty much didn't lose for the first whatever amount of games for their entire season. Both those teams have been unbelievable, Winnipeg and Minnesota, in their divisions, right? In their division, that is. So that 1st round pick that they're getting really isn't necessarily going to be a great 1st round pick. So that's where you can really start to criticize it. Yes, they got a haul of draft picks, but they also spent a lot to get, you know what I mean? If you want to spend a 6th overall draft pick and send Jurček to Minnesota, that does worry me a little bit, because you're literally giving up a top prospect, big player, right-hand shot D. I don't know. I don't think that Columbus did that bad, but I wonder if holding out they could have done a little bit better, right? I see almost too much criticism of them online. I don't think they did that bad, but I do understand that this draft pick isn't necessarily going to be that great. It doesn't mean it couldn't turn out to be something, but you would like something in the top 15, but teams obviously don't necessarily want to do that, right? Now, when it comes to Jurček, this year he's only actually been playing 11 minutes a game when he does play, right? Last year he played 43 games, I believe, and he only averaged about 14 or 15 minutes a game. So this is a player that I'm sure that he was probably pretty frustrated with the lack of opportunity that he was getting, which kind of makes sense. That I'm sure he wanted out. I don't know if there was actually rumors that he wanted out, but I would assume that he did. Now, Columbus probably just wasn't that impressed with his play, but I think they should have just given him some runway. Okay, let's see what this kid's got. I mean, they're not a stellar team by any means anyway, so you might as well give the guy a chance to play. But again, Minnesota, this is a good bet by Minnesota. I don't mind this bet by them, because their 1st round pick isn't going to be that great anyway. Yes, they're giving up a lot of selections, but their 1st round pick isn't going to be that good anyway, so it kind of makes sense. Now, it does look like at the Minnesota Wild, with the Minnesota Wild, he will be playing in the American Hockey League. Yes, but I just did look it up. It did look like there were actually rumors that he was pretty unhappy with the organization as well. So that actually did what I said there actually does make sense, but he's going to be playing in the AHL probably, because if you look at the line combinations for Minnesota, they have enough right shot defensemen. I mean, they have a hell of a player in Brock Faber. In my opinion, I think he's a hell of a player, but they have Bogosian. It's like, will he take a Bogosian spot? I mean, he's going to, but again, he's not even going to be playing 11 minutes. He's going to be playing even less than that because they're probably going to put him in the American Hockey League. I think they already did. Anyway, right? I mean, for right-hand shooting defensemen, they already have Faber, right? So, I mean, will he be behind Faber? I would imagine that's what the Minnesota Wild see with his future, right? I mean, when you look at Jared Spurgeon, for example, he's another right-hand shooting defenseman on the Minnesota Wild. He's got 10 points in 18 games, so he's had a pretty good start to his season as well. So you got Faber, you got Spurgeon. I'm wondering if they're probably looking to eventually move on from a Bogosian, or I don't know if he would be a lock for the lineup, but they already have two pretty good right-hand shooting defensemen. Albeit, again, the whole ideology with this is that they probably just want to get younger. The one good thing about the Minnesota Wild this year, though, is they have been excellent defensively. I'll put the information up on the screen. If they've only allowed something like 2.41 goals against on average, which is objectively fantastic. And now they have another young blue liner to add to their franchise, which has a couple of old players that they probably want to build a little bit of a younger core around them. So I do think that this kind of makes sense for Minnesota now that I think about it, because again, they are going to be able to get younger. They're going to be able to get better. Their first round draft pick isn't necessarily going to be great because they're already having such a great season. I mean, they're second in their division. So alas. Anyways, I am going to leave the video here. I just wanted to touch on that Minnesota Wild and Columbus Blue Jackets trade. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, I would appreciate it. And have a great day, guys. Goodbye.